For decades, podcasts have been used for leisure and entertainment, but in recent years, they've become the center of media, education, and pop culture. KX News' Kiara Brown joins us in the studio to talk more about how podcasts have evolved, and she has a big announcement. Hello, Kiara.
Good afternoon, Joel. Good afternoon, everyone. And that's right, podcasts have become a source of information for all topics all around the world. Rolling out in 2003, instead of turning on the radio, listeners started to subscribe to their favorite podcasted show and listen as often as a new episode dropped in a roundtable discussion type setup. Today, podcasts have evolved into highly diverse content. Many are still only audio shows, but many podcasters are now adding video so they can stream to apps and social media. Just an example of how popular podcasts have become is Joe Rogan's podcast. Joe Rogan is known for hosting the show Fear Factor, commentating UFC fights, performing his stand-up comedy, and is now most known for his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. His podcast is #1 in the world, and he recently signed a new contract with Spotify for $250 million. Another big announcement in the podcast world is former Fox News anchor and right-wing media personality Tucker Carlson's interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The interview hasn't aired just yet, but is said to be streamed on the Tucker Carlson podcast and would be the first interview Putin has granted to an American journalist since the start of the war in Ukraine. This is what mainstream media and news has evolved to, letting people speak freely and telling their own personal sides and stories, as well as being a news outlet, a more alternative and open discussion-based setting. And that's exactly why we here at KX News are starting our own podcast called The Voice of the People. It will be available every Monday at 5 p.m. on our website, kxnet.com. It will be hosted by our very own Nicholas Kwolek and will make its debut this coming Monday, February 12th. Our first episode, we will be sitting down with former Minot Mayor Sean Sitma and former North Dakota State Representative Rick Becker to talk about property taxes in our state. And we want to answer your questions and hear your opinions. We have this post pinned to the top of our Facebook pages. You can head online right now and type your questions, comments, or concerns regarding property taxes in North Dakota. And we will try to address all of them on our podcast. Then you can log on Monday, February 12th at 5 p.m. to hear some of your questions answered. So we hope you will all join us for our new podcast, The Voice of the People. And that's your pop culture update for the week. Joel?
Kiara, thank you so much. To listen to that podcast, just go to our website, click on Voice of the People podcast under the Community tab.